our staff here. And oh yeah, we're also recording this. And so just FYI, we'll just kind of post it on our website for people who can't make it. And so if you don't want to be part of that, you can just hide your video. But most of it will just be on the slides too. But a couple of folks from our BSME team, Jill Fisher is our program coordinator, and then Reka Sas is, she'll be talking more later. She's the Hungarian office's director. And so, again, welcome to our webinar, BSME, or Budapest Semesters in Math Education. That's our program. And I think I'll have a kind of a short presentation of what we're about. And Orsi's here too. She's from the Hungarian office as well. So hi, Orsi. And so I'll do a short presentation about our program and then leave a lot of the time for kind of a Q&A session. Several of us from Team BSME is here, and we've also invited a couple of current and former participants of the program as well to kind of give us their perspective. And so, and I see Emma there, so thanks for coming. So I'm going to share my screen and share my short presentation. Can you all see the slides that I have? Great, thank you. So that's us, Budapest Semesters in Math Education. The background there is the Parliament building in Budapest. And so kind of a agenda for today's session. Again, I'll give a brief overview of our program, and then we have a couple of past and present participants that can share their BSME experiences, and the rest of the time, I'm hoping would be just a time for you to ask any questions that you might have. And then at the very end, I think our plan is that the people who are on the staff of BSME, so people like me, Jill, Reka, and Oshi, we're going to leave and we're just going to hand it over to, for those of you who want to stay and ask questions, to our participants, perhaps without our presence, so they can be brutally honest if they like to be in. And so if you want to ask it in that setting, we'll make that available. And so, our study abroad program is set in Budapest, as our name suggests. So that's the capital of Hungary. It's just that we have we have several experts of the country besides me, obviously, but just fun tidbits about Hungary. It's a country in Central Europe, about the 2/5 of the size of Minnesota. That's my frame of reference because I live in Minnesota. Just amazing culture, sceneries, pastries. One of the things I've missed over the past few years is that I couldn't go there in part of my annual trip, but I'm hoping fairly soon I can revisit Hungary. It's I'm sure you've seen Rubik's Cube before. That came out of Hungary. The base 10 blocks that are often used in elementary and middle school curriculum, that's out of Hungary as well. And Hungary has an incredibly rich history of mathematics, and in particular mathematics education. And that's a big reason why we base our study abroad programs there. And some years ago, someone did a kind of an informal study of, mathematicians per capita, and Hungary just kind of blew every other country away. Just for a country of that size, there shouldn't be that many mathematicians, but there are. And that's what's amazing about Hungary. Some of the notable names, Paul Erdős, I imagine many of us think of him as perhaps the most prolific mathematician from the last century, is Hungarian. Vera Sós is a contemporary of Erdős and a phenomenal mathematician in her own right. George Polya, if you've heard of that name, I think in the US, he made a name for himself as an author of the book How to Solve It, a book about problem-solving heuristics that became a wide seller, international bestseller. Polya, also a Hungarian mathematician and a math educator. And so, how did they do it? And I think one kind of impetus for our program is the way mathematics is often taught in Hungary. And so we call it Hungarian mathematics pedagogy. In Hungary, they just call it as math pedagogy. And it's centered a lot around problem solving and kind of the excitement of figuring things out on your own. That's a big way to teach mathematics there, and giving students the freedom to argue with each other and make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. So it's a very student-centered learning environment. And viewing math as a whole discipline, as opposed to having kind of a year of Algebra 1 in middle school and, geometry, Algebra 2, pre-calculus. They just have math, right? And then stressing the connections between what we think of as our separate disciplines of mathematics. In Hungary, in middle school and even in high school, they just have math, and that's seeing math as an entire discipline. And because of the student-centered nature of the learning environment there, for teachers, a lot of their role is kind of motivating and facilitating, as opposed to being kind of the giver of knowledge, if you will, that math teachers often are perceived. And so that's not the way it is in Hungary. And so that's our main kind of objective in our program, is how do we impart our students, our participants, with this Hungarian pedagogy. And so we have a 6-week summer program in Budapest. We're around, I guess, about 7 years old. We started off in about 2015, I think was our first year. It's a 6-week program in Budapest. So the next summer of 2023, I believe we're starting in late June and going into early August. That's kind of our typical timeline. And our target audience, undergrads and also recent graduates who are interested in the not just mathematics, but the learning and teaching of secondary mathematics. So we have lots of pre-service teachers and also in-service teachers as well. And the main goal of our program is to experience and study this Hungarian pedagogy, this student-centered, problem-solving based way of learning and teaching mathematics. And so at BSME, we take this kind of two-pronged approach. So our participants take courses in math education, problem-solving courses, and pedagogical courses as well, but we want to put them through the ringer of learning mathematics through this Hungarian pedagogy. But then also these are people interested in teaching, and so there are opportunities to observe these Hungarian lessons. It is during the summer, and so we use these various math camps that pop up in different parts of Budapest and Hungary, where they employ these pedagogical techniques. And so we have a 1 week out of that 6 where participants spend in these math camps and seeing these pedagogy in action. And then in that math camp as well, our participants have an opportunity to design and teach their own lessons as well in English. So we don't expect people to be able to speak Hungarian or anything like that. Some of our courses, these are course names on our website. You can see the URL at the bottom of each slide has more description and syllabus for each of these courses, but we have Practicum. That's the course where you observe and be part of that math camp to see the Hungarian pedagogy in action. And then we have a couple of problem-solving courses, discovery learning, and teaching geometry through problem solving. And then one of our very popular courses is gamification and playfulness in teaching mathematics. So how do you bring spirit of games and playfulness into the teaching of mathematics? And so those are kind of our core courses during our 6 weeks. And I think our main strength are our instructors, the Hungarian instructors who kind of grew up learning mathematics in this style. And now they teach secondary mathematics, either middle school or high school. So they kind of walk the walk as well. They teach mathematics using this pedagogy to middle school and high school students. And so all courses are taught in English, and our instructors have lots of experience working with American and international students as well. And then, of course, Budapest is just a beautiful city, lots of culture, lots of beautiful scenery as well. So it's an amazing place to visit, especially during the summer. And so that's part of the study abroad experience, obviously. And in terms of our target audience, many of them tend to be pre-service teachers who are pursuing their math teaching licensure at their home institutions. We also have students who are thinking of other ways to licensure, such as a master's program. We also have in-service teachers because we are a summer program where we are able to attract in-service teachers as well. And we also get people who are just simply curious about learning and teaching of math, especially these kind of different types of pedagogies. And so our participants kind of come from very different backgrounds, but the common thread is that they're all interested in the learning and teaching of secondary mathematics. And so our website, bsmeducation.com, has our application as well. And so it's free to apply to our program. The deadline is in April 1, but we do accept applicants on a rolling basis. And so apply early and secure a spot, and then you're good to go. And so I'll just about stop there. Again, this is our website, bsmeducation.com. Our email is bsme@bsmeducation.com. And so if you have kind of questions after this webinar session, you can either go to our website or contact us, and we'd be happy to chat or reply to your questions via email. And so those are the slides that I had prepared. And we did ask a couple of former participants or current participants. I see Emma here, who's currently in Budapest. So I should mention one thing. We are primarily a summer program, but this semester is kind of the last time that we're offering an entire semester program. And that's why Emma is in Budapest right now. She's part of the fall cohort, but that's the last semester, at least for the time being, that we're offering a semester-long program. But I think Emma can still give us a flavor of the BSME experience. And so if Emma, if it's okay with you, if you could say a few words about, academic experience in Budapest.
Sure, absolutely. So just a little bit about me. I am currently a senior in college. I normally go to school in Massachusetts at Bard College at Simon's Rock. I am double majoring in math and education. And after this, after I graduate, I would like to pursue a PhD in mathematics, which I know isn't necessarily typical of the students who come to this program, but I am just really passionate about math and education. And so far, it's been really great. So one of the main benefits for me personally is that, so while I'm here, I am working on my senior thesis, which has to do with math and education. And things like that. And I'm taking all of these great, amazing education classes where like everything is like connected to each other. And we're learning about math education and all of these different methods and all of these different ways of communicating math. And that's feeding really well into my thesis, and it's feeding really well into just my thoughts about what I want to do in the future. And I'm just really excited to be here and surrounded in just an environment of math and education, whereas my school back home doesn't really have many education classes. And there's like a really small math department. So just being surrounded by all of that and being surrounded by people who are passionate about that has been one of the biggest positives for me. And I'm just loving the city of Budapest. I'm considering staying for another semester and doing some sort of internship or something like that, just because I love it so much here. Yeah. And yeah, any questions, let me know.
Emma, thank you so much for your introduction. And I think Diaza is also here. Diaza, are you here?
Oh, yes.
Okay, here.
Hello.
Okay, hi Diaza. So thanks for coming. And so I'm introducing Diaza, who was here in Budapest last summer. So Diaza, can you please talk about your experiences?
Yes, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Dielza Jakupe, and I'm from Kosovo. I was a BSME student during the summer semester. What I can say, I don't know where to start actually, but I can say that BSME changed my life for good, if I can say like that. So I would start from the education or academic part that what I learned during the Budapest. All 4 courses that I've been for, like geometry and combinatorics. So we were using the guided discovery learning or problem solving. These are the 2 techniques that currently I'm using with my students because I am a math teacher. So before starting the BSME in the summer, I was teaching grade 6 and 7. But after that, I got promoted and now I teach grade 7 up to 11 in my school. So I was very happy for that. And the experience at Budapest helped me a lot. With my students, I'm using the guided discovery and I can see a big change in myself, how I was a teacher before and what I'm doing right now. So all my strategies and methods change. Students are loving the guided discovery and I can see a progress on that part because I'm letting them explore things, same as what I learned in Budapest, instead of just telling them the answers. So the guided discovery is something that I didn't use before and I learned there. On the other side, in gamification and combinatorics, all the problems that we have done there helped me improve my critical thinking skills. So in this way, I started to create IB assessments because right now I teach in an IB school. And while I was presenting these problems to an IB math assessments website, now I'm creating IB assessments for them. And one of the problems that I added on that website is the geometry problem set that I made in Budapest. And they really liked the problem. So now it's on the website and everyone can go and buy the problem. The other one is practicum, which was the field experience. Actually, BSME helped me to, since I was teaching in an IB school, they helped me to go and visit IB schools in Budapest, which was a wonderful experience for me as I was a new IB teacher. So I gained experience and that was awesome for me. And then I got introduced with math camps, which was something new as well. And while being there, I've been part of different math competitions. So now I'm organizing competitions at my school as well, which is something that I didn't do before, or in my country we didn't do before. So we started to do that because of my experience that I got there. And the last course, gamification. So during this course, we learned a lot of fun games. We use different manipulatives that I didn't use them back home. And part of one project that we did was creating one of my lessons that I created in gamification was a board game that I created for my students. And recently, these days, I'm using that board game that I created for financial applications with my students. And based on the professor's feedback that I got at Budapest, my board games got a little bit better. So students are loving it. And I can say that they are understanding way better the financial applications instead of just writing on the whiteboard and explaining them the compound interest, simple interest, and everything like that. So now they have a better idea what the financial applications are. And the other thing, so I finished with all the courses, what I wanted to talk about. And then at the end recently, just because of the experience that I had at Budapest, I got a scholarship for an IB master's degree in University of the People. So I was currently enrolled there, but I didn't have a scholarship, so I was paying for it. And now I got a full scholarship. And meanwhile, which is online, but meanwhile, also I got a scholarship for an MBA, which I'm planning to do this year in Greece, and it's a blending program. So I will have to go there and come back home. So overall, me as a former student of BSME, I strongly recommend. And if I would have a chance, I would do it again. So it's up to you. And if you have any questions, whatever you have, just feel free to message me, and I am more than happy to answer all your questions. Thank you. I hope I wasn't too long, by the way, but I wrote everything as I thought I will forget something to share with you.
Thank you so much, Diaz and Emma, for sharing your experiences. It was really, really good to listen, and I hope it was also very interesting and useful information for our participants. And now I think we are ready to give the floor over to questions. Is that right, Ryota? Okay, so questions. And so again, we'll stay for a while and answer questions. And then after, the staff will leave, and then you can ask questions privately from Diaz and Emma.
I'll go first. I guess this is kind of a random question, but at least trying to see myself living in a different country. I have a lot of dietary restrictions. How hard is that to take care of in Budapest?
Can I answer this one?
Yeah.
So I don't know specifically so the question was about dietary restrictions, right?
Is meat, dairy and why can't I think of, just meat and dairy.
Okay, so I also have dietary restrictions. Specifically, I just eat kosher food, but mostly I just eat vegetarian while I'm here, and a lot of vegan. There's actually surprisingly a lot of vegetarian and vegan options everywhere, which I wasn't even expecting. So I've been having a great time with it. There's even like right near the building, there's a couple of vegan places. And in the supermarkets, you'll find some like vegetarian and vegan options. So I was really worried about that as well. And I haven't found it to be much of a problem at all for me.
Nice, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So I was wondering how much of the program is theory versus practice, or how much of it is like just all jumbled together in terms of, learning how to teach, but also learning how this different pedagogical style works.
So I would say that it's mostly practice. There is some theory, but mostly practice. And so we have 4 courses that we offer. And so 2 of them are more focused on the mathematical aspect, and 2 of them are more focused on the pedagogical aspect. But all of them are from a practical point of view, mostly. And so, yeah, and Emma and Diaz, if you have anything to add to any of the questions, feel free. And we have a question in the chat. I'm very interested in the chance studying abroad, but I don't think I'll end up teaching secondary maths as a career after my undergrad. Is this still a good idea for me to apply? Well, we have, as Ryota mentioned, we have students from a lot of different backgrounds, and we have like usually half of our students are the ones who are directly already teaching math or decided 100% about going into math teaching, and the other half is all kinds of different things. Maybe they want to teach at the college level, or maybe they don't even want to teach, they are just interested in teaching, or maybe they are currently making the decision whether they want to be teachers or not. For example, Emma is also a student who, can you elaborate on that a bit, Emma, please?
Absolutely, yeah. So I currently am, I'm considering like a bunch of different options. I definitely want to go and get my PhD in math. So that's like just pure math for like 5 years. But I'm also considering taking a gap year before then and just teaching probably at the secondary level. And then just in general, I'm really passionate about education and education policy and like alternative methods of education. I've had like a very interesting educational journey. So yeah, just being really passionate about education, being really interested in math has been my motivation for coming here. Whereas like some other people are here like specifically to learn strategies because they want to teach as their career. So as long as education and math are things that you are interested in learning about and spending a lot of time on in a really fun and engaging way, I'd say like do it for sure. But if you would choose just like any study abroad program, like you're going to be talking about education a lot. You're going to be thinking about education a lot, and you're going to be doing a lot of fun and engaging math. So if those are your interests, this program is for you.
Okay, so the next question was, how much of a focus is there on supporting students who are struggling with math? I'm currently an in-service teacher, and that's what I'd most like to improve upon. So this is not our primary focus, but because I see that Diaza has something to add, so I'll be really happy to hear that. But as the guided discovery approach is quite gives a lot of space for individualized instruction. So some students can have more challenge and some students can have more support. It also teaches you as teachers methods to support students who need more support. And so I just had someone come in at office hours yesterday and saying how the geometry course is, she loves it because everyone can work on the same problems, but at the same time the problems by the professor is really good at making the problems more challenging for some people and making and giving some support for other people. So, and I'm really curious about what Elsa has to add on this.
No, I just wanted to say that if you are worried about not being good at math, don't worry about it at all, because the teacher, what you just said, will help you, and you will just improve the way of thinking for math. So it doesn't matter in which course you are working on, it will just improve the way how you are thinking on doing math in other math courses that you will have even in the future. So I don't think that that should be something you should worry about, because you will have differentiating there, and the professors will help you.
And so the same kind of differentiation can be transferred to your own lessons as a teacher, because the whole method is about showing you how Hungarian pedagogy works directly, and then reflecting on it, and then helping you to transfer it to your own lessons.
Can I just chime in with this? So my day job is I teach at St. Olaf College in southern Minnesota, and I work with many of our pre-service teachers. And of course, I send them to BSME because I believe it is very helpful for them. And they come back, and many of them will do BSME and then do their student teaching, at a kind of a public school in Minnesota and Twin Cities, and they can really take a lot of what they learned at BSME and implement it in these classrooms in St. Paul or Minnesota, and with supporting students who are struggling. And this kind of student-centered guided discovery approach is helpful for all students, and they're able to kind of bring in what they learned in Budapest into their student teaching classrooms and beyond after that as in-service teachers as they go into the profession. So.
Okay, so next question is, how is the living situation and how much of a financial requirement is there? So the living situation is that for the 5 weeks in Budapest, the program organizes apartments where every students, usually 2 to 4 students, share an apartment. Everyone has their own bedroom and they have a shared kitchen. And in the math camp, 3 to 4 students share a room, and the housing is on the math camp venue. And about finances, we have financial on the website. You can see financial estimates, and so there is the tuition, and besides the tuition, there are estimates for the living costs. But one thing you need to know, that living costs are considerably less in Hungary than in the United States, a lot less. But you can see estimates about that on the website. And I'll give the word back to Riora to answer the next question, which is providing financial aid.
Right. So we, as a program, don't offer financial aid from us, but students often get funding from their schools or their departments, whether it's math or education. Many of our students have gotten funding from their own schools to participate. And especially if they get financial aid themselves to go to their home institution, there's a good chance that some of that can be applied to a summer academic program, for instance. So that's a conversation that each student would have with their own financial aid office at their institution, and we'd be happy to have that conversation with their kind of individual financial aid offices as well. The link that I put on the chat box, that also has some kind of grant opportunities, mainly from NCTM, National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, that have various grants for both in-service and pre-service teachers to kind of enhance their academic experience. So that might be another place that one can look at to get extra funding to participate. So I think the next question is, what prerequisite level of math should you have completed before attending the program? So I'll hand that over to Reka.
So usually the math level of our students is very, very diverse too. It's helpful to have already some mathematical, like to have completed some mathematical courses, not because of the content, because all the content of the BSME courses are secondary level content, but just to have a basic level of mathematical thinking. But yes, so usually the mathematical background of our students is very, very diverse. So the best, if you're not sure if you have enough maths for the program, the best thing is to contact us privately. And this is also, this applies to a lot of different questions that we are really happy to work one-on-one. And this applies also to finances. We are happy to work one-on-one with everyone and cater, like tailor everything to the needs of individual students. So if you're not sure, let us know, and then we'll try to help you individually.
There was a question about funding avenues. And so my response to that is our website, and I put the link on the chat box. Our entire website is bsmeducation.com, but this particular page that I'm just going to paste in the chat box again, that has some links to some of the external grant opportunities for both in-service and pre-service teachers. So now there are a couple of questions about kind of the workload. How much time would you have to kind of explore the city and enjoy Budapest? And then, yeah.
Okay, Dielza?
I personally, I think there is not even one place, famous one, I mean, that I didn't visit. So I really explored Budapest during all the time that I've been there. And the workload, I'm not saying that it's less, you have to work, but I think it's manageable for you to do the work and enjoy the Budapest. And there are a lot of beautiful places to visit there. So I think also during the weekends doing the work, you will have time to submit the work.
Emma?
Yeah, for sure. So again, I'm in the semester-long program, so it might be a little bit different for the summer program. But for me, the workload has been like so manageable, coming from taking mostly like high level pure math classes, which are like super rigorous, and you have like 5 problem sets every week. Actually, specifically the kinds of work we have. So I have for geometry, teaching geometry through problem solving, I have one problem set where you have to complete 3 out of 4 problems to get 100%. I have journals for gamification. So after each week, I have to write a journal about what happened to gamification. I have some like micro teachings and practice lessons to prepare for, and some like problem threads to design, which are sort of longer term, like a little bit more spread out projects, and those happen periodically. And then I just finished actually presenting at an education conference here for my directed research class. So yeah, it's not that much per week. And I have been having so fun exploring everywhere. Even though I personally have like the added stuff of applying to graduate schools and writing my thesis, I really have been enjoying the city alongside that.
So you can, on the website, you can see the schedule, and you will have 4.5 hours of courses every day, and then there is also daily homework or preparation. But still, as Dielza and Emma said, there is ample time for visiting Budapest, and also students usually travel to other countries in the weekends because in Europe distances are quite small, and also we have some cheap flights and good trains to neighboring countries, and cheap flights to all of Europe, and even to other continents nearby.
I just pasted the academic schedule in the chat. That's a little more detail about kind of a week by week schedule and also a course schedule. But there was a question about how many people do normally accept. So that sense of normal kind of went away for the past few years. Pre-pandemic, we had a cohorts of 16-ish, I think, right? And then pandemic hit, and we had to go online for a while. I think this past summer we're just starting to kind of come out of that pandemic phase, and I think we're like three people. Was that right? This past summer. But if all of you in this Zoom room come, so that'll be 26 people or something, minus some of the staff and past participants. And so it's a bit of unknown, I guess, kind of the entire scope of study abroad and how much have we really come back from COVID. And my hope is that we're kind of back to the pre-pandemic kind of phase next summer. So I like to stay optimistic, and that's where we're going to end up next summer. But pre-pandemic, we were kind of at 16-ish. So it was a nice size cohort, and my hope is we can return to that next summer and beyond, and perhaps continue to grow after that.
So I have another question. How well do the skills learned during this program transfer over to college level education, and what opportunities might be available in Budapest to, engage with colleges in the area?
So, Ryota, maybe I can answer about credits, but maybe you can answer even better.
So is a credits question? Is that?
No. In particular, like I know I want to go and be a professor at some point,
Oh, I see.
but I wonder if the skills might be harder to transfer over to like a lecture hall, right?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry. I misunderstood the question then. Okay. So the skills yeah. So definitely we've had several students in BSME who were interested in becoming professors. And so I personally believe, yes, Emma is raising a hand too. I personally believe that whatever you teach at whatever level, it's the essence is always the same. So like the teaching philosophy is always the same. So definitely it transfers to any level.
It also depends on, what we mean by college teaching. So I teach at a small liberal arts college. My math classes are, 20 students. They work in groups of 3 or 4 and kind of discuss. I try to incorporate this kind of Hungarian approach in my own classrooms as well. So if that's kind of the setting that you're interested in as a college teacher, then certainly this is incredibly applicable, I think. But as Reka said, even if you're teaching in a 200-person, lecture hall in differential equations or something like that, there are ways to, bring a problem-solving approach into your lectures as well, right? So I think good teaching is good teaching, wherever you are. So I think these skills are certainly transferable to various kinds of teaching settings that you might encounter.
Rika, can I ask, does the summer program have the DRS?
No, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, regardless, I just wanted to mention, so right now during the semester program, we have a research part where we're doing some education research. And just to illustrate how we are always kind of thinking about how to apply this on many different levels in all of our classes, there's actually a research group that's looking into how well, like what specifically the POSHA method, which we're learning about in one of our classes, it can be applied to higher level education. And in a lot of our classes, we talk about, okay, so we have learned this skill. And so now how would we use this tool or this skill or this material to teach like pre-K through to like undergraduate math. So we are thinking a lot about that. If your goal is to just think about higher level math, then most of the math that we're actually working with is secondary level math. But I personally already have so many ideas about how I would take these and apply it to teaching at university.
Absolutely, I can definitely see that. And then as a follow-up, I thought it was really cool that you were able to, I forget your name, sorry, that you were able to visit some IB schools. Has there been similar things in the past with visiting universities in the area?
Okay, so you may be interested in, so there's the BSM program, which is our like big brother. And it's a study abroad program like BSME, but they focus on pure math. And so if you're interested, you can certainly sit in and observe some of those courses. So you won't be able to take a BSM course because the schedules are not compatible, but you can certainly go in and observe some classes and sit in and see that style of teaching, which is like a similar philosophy, but it's towards college students. Okay, so there was a question about finding friends and people to travel with. So one thing that we are like a rather small program. So like the largest number so far was 16. That used to be our typical summer size. And so so usually students get very close and get to know each other really well. And also because it's always some students sharing apartments, that's also like a different micro community that helps you get close to people. But I'm sure Diaz and Emma have a more direct experience about that.
Yes, for me personally, I was living alone. So at the beginning, it was hard until I managed to make friends. But then there is a Facebook group where you can just write there that you made some plans and if anyone would like to join you, or if someone else will make plans, they will write there, and then you can join them. So in this way, you will get to know each other. And also then during the math camps, there are a lot of teachers there, like us, let's say. And then I think you will make friends there. I personally made some friends there, and then I went out with them. And we still keep talking with them and share ideas and share math problems with them, even they are living there. So I think at the beginning it might be hard, but you will get it.
Yeah, so for us, the system is we have a Discord server, and I don't know if everybody knows what Discord is. It's just another kind of messaging app. Anyways, we have like channels that are related to traveling, and people like make plans there all the time. I know people make plans like all sorts of different plans and like group up based on like all different sorts of interests. I'm actually just gonna, so the Discord right now has just so many categories of different interests, and so people are really like connecting based on those, and so right now we actually have a combined BSM and BSME Discord server as well. And so I don't know if the summer program also like they interact with each other, but there's like with the BSM and BSME combined, there's like a lot of people to talk to and meet. And I personally, every time I've traveled, I went to visit my family who live like a 3-hour flight from here. But I know that a lot of like my flatmates and I just like have heard of so many groups of people going on trips and been invited on so many trips to places in other countries. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a really friendly environment, and everybody there, in my experience, is just trying to get to know each other and other people. Like people aren't coming with a bunch of other people from their school also. So yeah, I think there will be a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
Also last year with BSM students, together I think we explored most of the escape rooms in Budapest. So like as friends, we did all the escape rooms in Budapest. So I think we went there twice a week for the whole time that we were there.
Okay, I'll answer I can see one more question in the chat, and I think it will be time for the staff to leave because it's 50 past.
So apparently, Reka, there is no way to kind of transfer the host responsibility. So we'll just kind of have to, not have that portion. But anyway.
Okay, or maybe we can leave and and then one of you who is the host can just maybe leave the computer on.
But yeah, I can.
Leave
I
the
can do that.
computer.
That
You can
sounds-
maybe
yeah.
do that, and then
Yeah.
Okay. So the demographic of the students that you would be observing and working with in the math camp. The math camp is offered for grade 5 to 12 students, which is age 10 to 18. And so it depends. It can vary from year to year. This summer it was actually grade 5 to 10. So age 10 to 16 who came to the camp, but usually it's between ages 10 and 18. Okay, so yes, so I would like to thank again so much Emma and Diaza for coming and contributing. And also I would like to thank all the participants who came. And so now the staff will say goodbye, and then we'll leave you with Emma and Diaza for a few minutes to be able to ask some private questions. I mean, questions without the staff being present. Bye.